Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning here on Channels Television. We're still staying on the economy and looking at the growth and movement of the economy. 27 years of democracy, especially in this administration where we've had a lot of reforms. And a popular notion now is that the macroeconomy is stable, but we're looking for growth. Let's find out what the Nigerian Economic Summit Group thinks about this. We have the head of research joining us virtually, Dr. Joseph Ogebe. Dr. Ogebe, good morning. Welcome to the program. Hello, Dr. Ogebe. I think you should unmute.
Oh, sorry. Good morning.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the program. So, I mean, is NESG also in line with a popular notion now that Nigeria's economy is stable and looking for growth?
So, yes, in a way, I would say yes, because over the last 2 years, we've seen some improvements in macroeconomic conditions, and we've seen some element of stability. But what we're saying is that this stability is not full stability in itself. It's actually a fragile stability, because any shock in terms of internal or domestic shock can actually get us, can actually slow some of the growth that we've recorded. So we're saying that the economy has stabilized, yes, but the stability is still fragile. But despite the fragile stability, there is need for us to move to what we call the consolidation phase. The first phase in our economic transformation roadmap, which is a long-term thing, is the stabilization phase. So first, you need to stabilize the economy. Then next, you need to move to the consolidation phase. And this consolidation phase is all about, improving productivity, improving growth in certain sectors, and also making sure that, most importantly, most of these gains that we've recorded from the stabilization should trickle down to job creation and improve investment, and also reduce poverty in the economy.
Yeah, I guess that's what, because I mean, last year, the music mostly we heard was, yeah, we see the macroeconomic data looking good, but it has not trickled down to the micro. So maybe you should tell us more about this consolidation phase and how NESG thinks we can achieve it.
So yes, so what we crafted as the consolidation phase, and this is not, it has been done in other countries, right? The first thing that we need to do under the consolidation phase is to fully stabilize. We need to anchor our key macroeconomic fundamentals. You need to reduce inflation, because inflation is a big elephant in the room. You know what it does? It will reduce, it will increase the, your cost of your production. So a lot of citizens, a lot of Nigerians are also feeling the pinch from the high inflation. It's almost at double digits. Then next is that also the debt that we're currently having is over 160 trillion, about 160 trillion. It's too high. So we need to anchor key macroeconomic fundamental. We've seen improvements on the fiscal side, sorry, on the real side and the external side, but we still need to see significant improvements on the fiscal side and also on the, on the monetary side. But apart from, the first is you need to anchor your macroeconomic fundamentals. Secondly, you need to strengthen institutions. We've said this time for a while now. There are key reforms that we need to unlock for us to, help strengthen the consolidation phase. Institutional deepening is very key. Ease of doing business, which we measure monthly in our business confidence monitor, tells us that the cost of doing business has increased from what we used to know. Then also regulatory clarity. We need strong regulatory clarity for businesses to thrive or to survive. Then also, we also need to strengthen fiscal discipline. It's enough that yes, we are moving towards improving revenue, but we need to prioritize spendings, right? How we spend the revenues we get, and also need to block leakages in terms of our in the fiscal side. And the third element in our consolidation, what we call structural transformation, is very, very key, and is one of the pivotal points in our consolidation phase. We need this growth. We've seen 4% growth, but we need the growth to be broad-based, and we need the growth to be real, to be able to cut across different sectors. Key for us is agriculture, manufacturing, and trade have high job elasticities. When you improve growth in this, you'll be rest assured that to trickle down to employ more people in this sector, and that's the only way you see people having good livelihood, and that will also help to reduce poverty in those sectors. Then also important, we need to consider human capital development, right? Because even when you invest in these critical sectors that we need to firepower our growth and create jobs, require tools so that those sectors will absorb these skills into full employment or into gainful employment. So it's very important that we to try some capital development in the economy. Then the last element of our consolidation phase is what we call social inclusion. This is very critical. Job is critical, poverty reduction is critical, and also improved well-being is also very critical. So if what we're saying is that this is not a short-term thing, the stabilization phase is a short-term thing, but the consolidation phase we're looking at from 3 to 5 years. But we need to start now. It's very urgent that we need to start now to help grow the economy and also create more livelihood for people in the country.
All right, Dr. Gebe, NESG is also noting the absence of a credible framework to efficiently allocate resources. What does that mean in an everyday language, and how do we deal with that?
So what we're saying in our recently published report is that this consolidation phase is critical, but the key challenge is the investment to drive the consolidation phase. Because you need investment in critical sector, you also need investment to strengthen these fundamentals that are important in the consolidation phase. So because we know that, yes, investment is key, we try to create a consolidation financing framework. What this framework would do is that it tries to bring the various sources of finance in the economy, right? There are different sources of finance from external side to domestic side, because your government cannot actually drive the consolidation phase, cannot actually drive the industrialization or structural transformation we're looking at. So during consolidation framework, we try to identify areas whereby we can actually get capital to invest into the economy, and also the kind of investment instruments. It could be PPP, blended finance, and other instruments we outline framework. So this framework takes care of de-risking these sectors, right? Because what we hear from investors is that we're advocating that more investment should go into it, also has high risk. Consolidation financing framework takes care of how sources of capital can be invested into the critical sector, also how to de-risk the risks in this critical sector. So the framework that Nigeria can actually adopt to speed up investment in this crucial sector, because as you know, the budget alone, both federal and nationals, cannot actually drive industrialization or finance industrialization in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Ogebe, the head of research at NESG, for your views this morning.